Have you ever noticed how some women seem more alive, more peaceful, and more joyful even after the age of 70, while others don't? After 70, life changes in many ways. Some slow down, some pull back from the world, and some feel lost without the roles they once played. But then, there are those women, the ones who wake up with a smile, whose voices carry calm, and whose very presence seems to light up a room. So, what's their secret? It's not money. It's not luck. And it's definitely not about trying to hold on to youth. Their secret lies in the choices they make, small, intentional habits they live by every single day. Habits that bring meaning, connection, and peace. Today, we'll talk about 8 daily habits happy women over 70 follow. And if you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, or if you love someone who is, this is for you. Habit number 1, a peaceful morning ritual. Happy women start their day in a way that feels like the day belongs to them. Before the phone rings, before the TV turns on, before anyone else's needs take over, they claim a few quiet moments just for themselves. Maybe it's sitting by the window with a warm cup of tea. Maybe it's gently stretching their body. Maybe it's writing a thought or two in a journal. Or simply closing their eyes to give thanks. The activity doesn't matter as much as the intention, to begin the day with calm instead of chaos. They've learned something important: the first moments of your day set the tone for everything that follows. If you start with stress and hurry, that mood follows you. But if you start with stillness, it tells your mind and body, we're safe. We're steady. We begin fresh. I once knew a woman named Joan, 82 years old. Her health wasn't what it used to be. She didn't go out much anymore. But every single morning, she would light a small candle, sit in her favorite chair, and write one thing she was grateful for. She told me, "It doesn't fix everything, but it reminds me I'm still here. I'm still me." That's what this habit does. It anchors you. No matter how the day turns out, that moment in the morning is a quiet promise to yourself: before I face the world, I choose me. Habit number 2, gentle daily movement. Happy women over 70 know that staying active doesn't mean exhausting themselves. It means keeping a loving connection with their body. They don't exercise to prove something or chase youth, they move because it makes them feel alive. It could be a short morning walk around the block, light gardening in the yard, or simply rolling their shoulders while the kettle boils. These little movements are not chores on a schedule, they're woven into daily life. They might walk to the mailbox instead of driving. They might sway a little in the kitchen while waiting for soup to heat. They might bend to pick up the laundry in a way that gently stretches the spine. These moments may seem small, but together they whisper to the body, you are still strong. You are still needed. You are still worth caring for. There's a beautiful humility in how they move. They're not trying to impress anyone. They're simply choosing to keep their body a part of life's dance. They can stand up from a chair without strain, keep their balance steady on uneven ground, and move through the day with ease. Their goal isn't to become someone else, it's to remain fully themselves in a body that still serves them well. I remember Ruth, a 78-year-old woman I met in a small church group. Every morning, rain or shine, she would walk the perimeter of her home 5 times. It wasn't far, just enough to feel her legs working and her lungs opening. When I asked her why she never skipped a day, she smiled and said, "Because I want to stay strong enough to pick up my own cat." That simple reason stayed with me. It wasn't about appearances. It was about independence and love. Science can explain why movement helps aging bodies, but Ruth didn't need the studies. She could feel the difference on the days she skipped her walk. Her back tightened. Her thoughts felt heavier. But when she moved, even just a little, her mind cleared and her spirit felt grounded again. That's the quiet power of gentle daily movement. It's not just about physical health, it's about mental clarity, emotional lift, and giving yourself something to look forward to. So if your knees ache, go slower. If your back feels stiff, start with breathing. Movement doesn't have to be big or perfect. It just has to be yours. And the happiest women move not out of guilt or pressure, but out of love, love for their health, their freedom, and the years still ahead. Habit number 3, meaningful daily connection. One thing you'll notice about happy women in their 70s and beyond is this: they rarely go a whole day without speaking to another soul. Even if they live alone, they make sure to reach out, to speak, to share, to connect. It might be a quick call to a sister, a friendly word to the cashier at the grocery store, or a short chat with a neighbor passing by. It doesn't need to be deep or long. What matters is the act of reaching out. For these women, connection isn't optional. It's essential. They've learned that while solitude can bring peace, too much of it can quietly erode the spirit. That's why they put in the effort to stay in touch with people, with their community, and with the everyday joy of hearing another human voice. They know that a shared laugh, a kind word, or even a simple, "How's your day?" can make life feel fuller and warmer. And when friends move away, loved ones pass on, or children get busy, they don't just sit back waiting for someone to call, they take the lead. They might write a note, send a message, or invite someone over for tea. They don't keep score. They don't say, "Well, she never calls me first." They simply give, and in giving, they receive. I once knew a woman named Barbara who had outlived most of her closest friends. But every Sunday, without fail, she would bake a small batch of cookies and carry them to her neighbor's porch. She didn't do it for attention. She told me, "It just gives me a reason to knock on a door." And sometimes, that's all it takes to feel human again. These women also know connection doesn't have to be limited to their own age group. They talk to grandchildren, local teens, and even the young man who bags their groceries. Not to cling to youth, but to stay engaged with life. It takes quiet courage to keep reaching out, especially after loss or loneliness. But happy women do it anyway. Not because every interaction will be perfect, but because every interaction is proof they're still part of something bigger than themselves. If you've gone a few days without talking to anyone, try this: call someone, wave to a neighbor, or smile at a stranger in line. It may seem small, but small moments of connection build resilience, fight loneliness, and invite joy back into your day. The happiest women don't wait for the world to knock, they open the door. Habit number 4, time spent outdoors. Happy women over 70 know something many younger people overlook: fresh air is medicine. Not the kind you pick up from a pharmacy, but the kind that lifts your mood, clears your mind, and makes you feel alive in a way no pill can. Whether it's a walk through the park, sitting under a tree in the yard, or just opening a window to let in the morning breeze, they treat nature like a trusted friend. They know that being outside, feeling the sun on your face, hearing the rustle of leaves, or watching the clouds shift, grounds you in the present moment. Whether it's a walk through the garden, a few quiet minutes on the porch, or simply standing by an open window with the breeze on their face, these women find a way to step outside and breathe in something bigger than themselves. They don't wait for perfect weather. They've learned to love the soft chill of a cloudy morning just as much as a warm, sunny afternoon. Why? Because being outdoors reminds them they're still a part of the world. Not just watching life pass by from behind glass, but living in it, feeling it. It grounds them. It reminds them that life is still unfolding all around them. They listen to the birds, notice the changing colors in the sky, and watch leaves dance in the wind. To some, these might look like small details, but to a happy woman, they are treasures. They are signs of movement, change, and beauty. They're proof that even on days when her own world feels slow, the earth is still turning, and so can she. I once met Eileen, a 76-year-old woman who kept a single green chair just outside her back door. Every afternoon, she'd sit there for 10 minutes. No phone. No book. Just her and the breeze. When I asked why she did it every day, she told me, "It's how I check in with the day." If I don't step outside, I feel like I've missed something important. That stayed with me. She didn't need a hike or a big trip, just a chair and just the sky, and that was enough. There's also something deeply healing about sunlight. Not just for the vitamin D, but for the way it warms your face, your shoulders, and your hands. It's a reminder that you're alive, warm-blooded, and still connected to the seasons of the earth. And even when the sun hides, a bit of natural light through the trees can lift your mood. These women don't go outdoors to escape. They go to reconnect, to feel the ground under their feet, to hear the rustle of life, and to release what's heavy, even if only for a few minutes. And over time, this simple daily choice builds a quiet kind of joy that grows stronger every day. So if you haven't stepped outside today, open your door. Even for a moment. Let the air touch your skin. Let your eyes rest on something green, wide, or moving. The happiest women don't wait for a reason to go outside, they know the reason is already there, waiting for them. Habit number 5, focus on something meaningful. Happy women over 70 know that joy doesn't just come from feeling good, it comes from doing something that matters. Every single day, they give a little of their time and attention to an activity that holds personal meaning. It could be adding a few stitches to a quilt for a granddaughter, tending a vegetable garden, writing in a journal, or volunteering at the library. The activity itself is different for each woman, but the intention is always the same, to pour energy into something that brings purpose and satisfaction. They've learned that drifting through the day without a focus can leave time feeling empty. So they create anchors, small, steady points in their schedule that give shape to the hours and a sense of accomplishment when night comes. These aren't grand, once-a-year projects. They're small, daily commitments that feed the spirit. For some, meaning comes through creativity, painting, trying a new recipe, or writing letters to friends. For others, it's through service, checking on a neighbor, preparing food for a community event, or helping a friend with errands. I once knew Helen, an 80-year-old who loved growing flowers. Each morning, she would walk through her yard with a small pair of clippers, trimming what needed attention and collecting a few blooms for a vase on her kitchen table. It's not just about the flowers, she told me. It's about caring for something and watching it respond. That was her meaning, nurturing beauty, then sharing it with anyone who stepped into her home. Happy women don't wait for meaning to appear on its own. They choose it, shape it, and protect it. They know that even on hard days, doing something that matters can shift their mood, moving their focus from what they can't control to what they can create. If you've been feeling restless or disconnected, ask yourself, what gives you purpose? It doesn't have to be big or perfect. Even 10 minutes spent on something meaningful can bring a deep sense of satisfaction. Over time, these moments stack up, building a life that feels valuable, intentional, and alive. Habit number 6, limiting daily negativity. One of the most powerful choices happy women over 70 make every single day is deciding what they allow into. They guard their mind and heart like treasures. It's not just about keeping their body healthy, it's about protecting their peace. That means setting firm boundaries with negativity, whether it comes from the news, toxic conversations, or even that harsh little voice inside their own head. They've lived long enough to understand that whatever you focus on will grow, so they refuse to feed the things that drain them. They don't ignore the problems of the world, but they also don't bathe in them all day. Instead of starting the morning with upsetting headlines or endless online debates, they choose what lifts their spirit, maybe soft music playing in the background, a favorite book of poems, or a few quiet pages from a devotional. They treat their emotional energy like something precious and finite, because it is. This wisdom shows in how they deal with people, too. They are kind but not afraid to create distance when someone's words or energy consistently leave them feeling small, anxious, or unsettled. They don't argue just to prove they're right. They don't try to win every conversation. They've learned that peace is worth more than winning. And if walking away from a draining relationship means protecting their well-being, they do it, with grace. Perhaps the most powerful thing is how they speak to themselves. They've trained that inner voice to be a friend, not a critic. They don't scold themselves for forgetting something or for needing a break. They offer themselves the same compassion they would give to a loved one. That gentle inner dialogue becomes their shield against the rough edges of life. I remember an 81-year-old woman named Dolores who kept a sticky note on her bathroom mirror that said, "Not everything needs your attention." Whenever she felt pulled into someone else's chaos or caught herself overthinking something upsetting, she'd glance at it. "It reminds me I have a choice," she told me. "I can let go. I can choose peace." Happy women know that negativity is like clutter, it piles up fast if you don't clear it away. That's why they're deliberate about what they watch, who they talk to, and how they speak to themselves. And when something feels wrong, they don't pretend it's fine. If your days often feel heavy, ask yourself, what am I letting in? Whose voices am I listening to, outside and inside? And what would it feel like to let some of that go? The women who smile the most aren't ignoring life's struggles. They've just learned to turn down the noise that doesn't serve them. Now, number 7, small acts of kindness. Happy women over 70 don't wait for big moments to feel good, they create them through small, intentional acts of kindness every single day. Sometimes that kindness is for others, sometimes for themselves, but always by choice. They know kindness is one of the strongest powers in the world. A kind word, a thoughtful gesture, a warm smile, these may seem small, but their impact ripples far beyond what we can see. Whether it's complimenting a stranger, sending a thank you note, or dropping off soup for a sick neighbor, they know the little things are never truly little. And they understand kindness starts at home, with themselves. That means resting without guilt, saying no when needed, and speaking gently to themselves instead of criticizing. It might mean giving their body a nap, treating themselves to a favorite dessert, taking a long bath, or strolling through a beloved park. These aren't indulgences, they're nourishment. Kindness, for them, isn't about grand charity or endless self-sacrifice. It's about being present, paying attention, and offering care without losing themselves in the process. I once met a 79-year-old woman named Clara who kept a small basket of wrapped chocolates by her front door for delivery drivers, neighbors, or anyone stopping by. "It costs me almost nothing," she smiled, "but it makes people happy." That little gesture lit her up just as much as it did them. The more you practice kindness, the more a quiet confidence begins to grow. You feel connected, useful, and part of something bigger, and that's something we all long for, especially as we grow older. These women have discovered something simple but powerful: when you brighten someone else's moment, you brighten your own. It doesn't matter if no one notices, or if no one says, "Thank you." It still matters. On days when life feels heavy, when energy is low and the mood is dull, they don't just wait for things to get better, they use kindness to change the atmosphere. It could be sending a loving message to a friend, leaving a small note, or making a cup of tea with a little extra care for themselves. These aren't chores. They are gifts, quiet reminders that joy can be found in the smallest, most ordinary moments. So, if you've been feeling distant or disconnected, ask yourself, what's one kind thing I can do today? Not to prove anything. Not to get praise. But simply to feel that warm glow that only comes from giving. The happiest women don't wait for kindness to knock on their door, they create it, one gentle act at a time. Number 8, ending the day with gratitude or reflection. There's one habit many joyful women over 70 share: they end each day with intention. Before they close their eyes at night, they pause and look back on the day to find at least one thing, big or small, to be thankful for. It could be a good meal, a friendly conversation, a pain-free walk, or simply the comfort of lying in a warm bed. They don't wait for perfect days to feel grateful. They find the good even in the difficult ones. Some keep a small notebook by their bedside, jotting down a line or two before turning out the light. Some whisper a short prayer. Others replay small, happy moments in their mind, a neighbor's wave, a smile from the pharmacist, or a memory that suddenly made them laugh. They don't look for drama. They look for meaning in the ordinary. One woman I knew, Lorraine, age 84, told me something I've never forgotten: I never go to bed angry, not at others, and not at myself. Even if I was grumpy or snapped at someone, I forgive myself before I sleep. Otherwise, I wake up already heavy. That simple act, giving herself grace before bed, has stayed with me ever since. Gratitude quiets the mind. Reflection calms the heart. Instead of replaying everything that went wrong, or worrying about tomorrow, these women anchor themselves in what was good, what was meaningful, what truly mattered. And because of that, they invite peace instead of chaos into their rest. Over time, this nightly practice changes the way they see their lives. When you make a habit of noticing what's working, what's lovely, and what's still unfolding, you start to believe in the goodness of your story, no matter what chapter you're in. You realize that even now, even here, life has something to offer. So tonight, try asking yourself one simple question before bed: what am I thankful for today? You might be surprised at the answer. And over time, that tiny moment can grow into a deep sense of contentment, the kind that carries you through the night and into tomorrow with a lighter heart. Final thoughts. Happiness after 70 isn't a mystery, and it's not only for the lucky few. It's built quietly, through small choices, repeated every day. Women who carry joy in their eyes and warmth in their voices aren't clinging to the past, they're living fully in the present, while honoring themselves along the way. Each of these habits may seem simple on their own, but together, they create a life that feels rooted, meaningful, and whole. They remind us that growing older isn't about fading away, it's about leaning in. So if today feels ordinary, let it be. Ordinary days are where happiness hides, in the warm cup of tea, the unexpected phone call, the golden sunbeam on your porch. The happiest women don't wait for a perfect life. They create joy in the life they already have. Thank you for spending this time with us today. We'd love to hear from you. Share one thing you learned and how you'll use it in your own life. Your comments inspire and motivate us every day. If you enjoyed this message, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us keep creating content that uplifts and inspires.